Hello, Mark. I'm delighted to be having a second chat with your good self there. Myself and Steve Evans here.
Hi, Mark. You all
Hello,
right? Good to see you
I'm
again.
I'm great, thank you. Yeah, greetings from Los Angeles.
Yeah. Speaking of LA, were you involved in any of the fires at all? Did you get caught up in that? Or do you know anybody who was struggling? It must have been devastating.
It was a very terrifying set of couple of days. We went down to Costa Mesa to the coast to get away from it and get down to the beach. But yeah, it was very scary for us up here.
Yeah. So, did you know anyone who was involved in or lost a house or anything like that? I know it's a terrible subject.
Yeah, yeah.
It must have been
Yeah,
awful for them.
several of our friends had to evacuate from Pasadena, um, but only one of them's their houses was badly damaged. They're in the process of rebuilding right now, so it was not a good
Yeah.
week.
Really.
Ah,
No, I
oh,
bet it wasn't. Yeah, I know they've gone ahead with all the awards after that, and they've tried to make the best of it. And good on them. But it's been an awful time for them. Anyway, moving on, we're going to focus on a film festival that you've launched, a Unique Perspectives Film Test Fest.com, and
Yep.
we'll get back into that. But first, can you remind us how such a young man from Chelmsford, Essex, all those years ago, had ended up in the heart of the film industry in Burbank, California?
I've been a filmmaker for a very long time. I started when I was 15 years old.
wow.
Um, I ended up working
Wow.
for the BBC in London as part of their news team, and I came across in 2000 to the BBC's bureau in Washington DC to help them set up for the 2000 elections. And whilst I was there in DC, I met my lovely wife, Julie. And between us, she wanted to be a screenwriter and I wanted to be a filmmaker. So we both came to film school here in Los Angeles, and we ended up staying.
So, Mark, the film festival, unique perspectives. In what way is this unique?
We designed it for filmmakers who have either physical or neurological disabilities.
Okay.
We did a lot of research. We looked into UCLA's research in portrayal of and involvement of people with disabilities in the film industry, and realized that they were woefully underrepresented. So that was the first part. And then on a far more personal level, our son has autism spectrum disorder, and watching him and his filmmaking friends struggle to get their work out there, we thought the best thing we can do is create a festival with this specific focus so that filmmakers with disabilities have a level playing field and can get their work seen, because there's a lot of very talented people who may not get the like the showcasing that they deserve. That was our thought behind it.
Okay.
So how do you get involved with the film festival then? How does a new filmmaker get involved with in the festival?
Well, we're on Film Freeway, so if you wish to enter, you enter through Film Freeway's website. And if you go onto our website, uniqueperspectivesfilmfest.com, you'll find every page has a link to Film Freeway. And then our closing date
Ah, right.
is March 15th. So you only got a couple of weeks left, but we're still looking for more
Yeah.
entries. Film Freeway is like the universal film festival entry portal. So we're there. Just click on it and send your entry in.
Okay. That sounds
Excellent. So, have you had quite a few entries so far? Or are you still open for a lot more? Well, you will be open for a lot more, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're open till March 15th. And that's the final deadline. The furthest one we've had was from Prague, the Czech Republic. And there's
Wow.
an absolutely beautiful film by a young filmmaker there whose brother has Down syndrome. Um, and she wrote this film to portray how he communicates to the world through painting. Um, he has like painting is his superpower, and the film was absolutely beautiful. That's the
yeah.
furthest afield we have.
Oh,
Well, that's great. It's great to hear that people are getting involved from all sorts of walks of life with disabilities and diversity and yeah, lots of other issues like that. And it is really good and heartwarming to see it. Yeah, yeah.
it
Thank you.
seems.
Yeah,
Sorry, Mark. I was just going to say it seems like a common term. Like Steve, you were involved with the level playing field at Anfield, weren't you, with the Liverpool footy club?
Well, I'm involved with Level Playing Field from a sporting point of view. We campaign for accessible stadia for disabled people.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like what Mark does in the film world. I'm doing in the sporting world in the UK. Yeah. So it's a bit similar. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm a Manchester City fan, so.
Oh dear. Never mind. Never mind this season.
That's fair enough. I work with all the clubs. I mean, I'm at Blackburn Rovers this Saturday. And I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan,
fantastic.
but I'm at Blackburn this Saturday. Then I'm at Northampton to go and, promote disabled access in sport and all that. So you got to go with every team. It doesn't matter who you support. It's all about a level playing field for disabled people, and that's what we're there to push and to get right. It's the same as what you're doing. Yeah.
Yes, we're going back to UCLA's research. There's something like, I'm just reading it now, 26% of the US population identifies with a disability, but their presence on screen is less than 10% of theatrical releases, and 6% of streaming releases have lead characters with disabilities. Okay. So it's something that we need to spread the word for, I think, because there's so much talent that's available that people just don't get to see sometimes.
Okay.
It's a very common theme. It's the same in sport. Sorry, it's the same in sport. There's so much the purple pound out there, if you like, the disabled person can spend that people aren't utilising if they had the right facilities, and it's very similar. Yeah.
Oh, I agree
with the percentages. Yeah. Sorry, Terry, go on.
No, it's okay. I was just going to ask you, Steve asked you about the feedback that you've had about the launch. This certainly sounds like a stupid question, but have you had a response from people, maybe ex-forces, ex-veterans with disabilities?
We've reached out to many of them. That's something we've not had back yet. We're trying to push that a great deal. I work with Veterans West, which is an organization for veterans here on the West Coast. Yep. So we're advertising with them. That's something we're looking forward to getting, but so far we haven't had a response from disabled veterans.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, but it's an outreach work in progress.
Yeah. It'll grow.
Yeah, you probably need more forces veterans organizations rather than individuals, because an individual won't bother, but if you've got an organization, they might reach out, but that's what there's probably not enough of them. I'm ex-forces, but I don't tend to get involved as much as I used to now with organizations. They are out there, and I'm sure if they knew about it, they may participate. But I don't know, it's a tough one, I suppose.
We do have some very good veterans organizations out here, so I'm always hopeful about it.
I see there's a Tim Mockett listed as an assistant director. Any relation? Well, it's just coincidence.
Pure coincidence. No. Anyway, so the Tim Mockett on our website is my son. He's 17. He has autism spectrum disorder, but he's been working in like film projects at school since middle school. He'd go out and interview fellow students about everything from the sneakers that they wore to the foods they like. And then next year in his final year, we're hoping he'll be on the production team of, they do a program called Good Morning John Barrows, which is his high school, which is like a little breakfast time show with news about the school. So we're hoping he'll be working on that. But we've been very lucky with him. He has this great little group of friends who are pretty much all on the spectrum that look after and support each other, and they make films together. So he was our inspiration for starting this festival.
Brilliant. Yeah. Also listed on the website is a certain Mr. John Henry Richardson as one of the judges. We've had quite a few podcasts with John Henry. He's got a fantastic CV with over 200 international film awards. Have you worked together to set up, to launch Unique Perspectives?
He is one of our judges. We look at his experience, as you say,
vast,
so many awards.
Yeah.
And he's taught at film schools for like many, many years. So he's very used to interacting and dealing with like students and ideas and so on. But he's been a great support for us. We've worked on so many projects together over the years.
Okay.
In fact, we're working on a new project together. We were filming today's Wednesday. We're filming on Monday for down in San Pedro in California there's going to be the new National Museum of the Surface Navy, which I'm involved with. So he and I have been working on a project for that. So our collaborations continues.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a great judge. I mean, he knows film inside and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about if you're working on any new projects with John, and but I don't need to now. Yeah, you've just told us. But yeah, he certainly left an impression on me. I remember him very well. Yeah, what a guy. Yeah, he's a superb guy. So how is he anyway? Is he okay? I'm assuming he's okay. Yeah.
He's busier than ever. He's filming a lot of stuff, wow. And he's filming a lot of stuff vertically now. A lot of film requests are coming into film for the vertical format for phones. So he's been doing a lot of that. And then, as I said, he and I are working together on the project. But he certainly keeps busy. And he's just a powerhouse of performance.
Well, we talked about your work as an editor, post-production work as an editor. But I've also seen an advertisement that you have on the voices.com website. Is this for yourself, for voiceover, for acting roles, for just voice?
Yes. Yeah. I started that when COVID came along and pretty much everything shut down.
Oh, yeah.
So I did a lot of voiceovers for a COVID support project. I ended up reading a whole set of poems that people had written as emotional support to get people through, get through the COVID times. And then, I'm always open to voiceover for any other projects, but that's where that started.
Okay.
It's quite an unexpected thing. Out of the COVID came all of these mutual support projects. People were, because everybody was stuck at home, and they were finding comfort and solace in a lot of cases in poetry. And so voices.com had a whole section for recording them so people could listen to them. It was a heartwarming experience.
Okay. Do you have a home studio set up?
I have a small one. I'm using my Yeti microphone at the moment.
A Yeti microphone?
You can't see it on the camera. I love my Yeti microphone. I have a little studio powered by a very old Mac Pro, but I've got editing and production software. I can do most of it from here. And I'm trying out today. You're very lucky. This is the first time I've used my new webcam.
Brilliant.
So, just talking about the UK again, Mark. Do you miss life back in the UK at all? I think I know the answer is to this. The cold weather and the rain, like we've got now,
we were back in the UK over New Year's of this year, and I had forgotten how cold it is. I was absolutely frozen. So I do not miss the cold. But one fun thing we did, my son had scoured the world and found a Transformers shop in the old Battersea Power Station. And so he persuaded us to go on a river cruise. So we cruised from Tower Pier all the way down to Battersea. And that was very cold. But he had a great time. He found the Transformer store he was looking for. So that pleased him. And, it's nice to be all bundled up on the river and see London go by. But on the whole, I miss England a bit. I miss my friends who still live there. I miss my family. But I do not miss the cold.
Okay.
Yeah, must admit, I wouldn't miss the cold either, but I'd miss my football, especially going to see Liverpool every other week. So, that'd be the challenge for me. But I definitely love a bit of sun. I must admit, I can't stand the cold. Well, hey ho.
Well, we do have soccer here. We do have soccer teams here. We have the LA Galaxy.
I know. Yeah.
Not quite the same.
I'm Liverpool through and through, so I'd always be Liverpool. So I'd need that, and I go to the match, you see, as well. So it's a long way from LA every other week.
Yes, just a bit.
Mark, is there much support for Man City over in where you are? Did you get to watch them on the television?
Yeah, occasionally they show up.
Yeah.
On some of the ESPN3 or something, like the really secondary channels.
Yeah.
But you don't meet many soccer supporters around here, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
Not as popular as it is over here, and Hey.
Yeah, then you have to explain to Americans why soccer is called football.
Yeah.
And American football do not use their feet, so why is it called football? So.
But Mark, we've been chatting on Facebook and you've got a Facebook profile, Mockett Post Production. So to tell me, how do you keep up with the latest industry technology? It must be constantly evolving and changing and improving and costing more money.
It always costs more money. However, I'm very lucky because I live in Burbank in California, and we have an amazing company here called Key Code Media. They are huge supporters of the particularly post-production community, and every month they hold events for post-production specialists where we get together, talk about new technology, and they host like technology events where you can come and talk to the manufacturers. One of the good things is that a lot of the companies, particularly in post-production, are here. So they'll bring in Adobe, they'll bring in Avid, and you can meet the actual people from the companies and talk to them. I was at a huge Adobe event the other day, and they had like one of the lead programmers from Adobe Premiere coming to talk to us. So we get, because we live in Los Angeles, we get immersed in the whole industry, and we get the people, the actual people who are doing stuff in the industry, come and make presentations and talk. So that part of it's very good.
Is that the main software that you use? Is it Adobe software for the editing suite, or using things like Final Draft?
I use Avid Media Composer for editing, and then Adobe pretty much for everything else, like After Effects, Photoshop, and then writing. I write in Final Draft. I do write.
Okay. Can you do the editing the old-fashioned way? You know, the razor blade and cutting the tape and things. Have you ever done that? Is that all gone now? The old-fashioned way, the hard way.
I hate to admit how old I am, but yes, I never cut videotape with a razor blade, but I have cut audio tape with a razor blade. Cutting videotape with a razor blade is me right back in before I was born. So, but when I was training to be training at the BBC, we did cut audio tape with razor blades. And that's why some of my fingers are shorter than the other ones.
So. I've read that it's sort of sacrilege, but the BBC they destroyed or reused some of the films, and some of the early classical television and Play for Today and things. They edited over on the tape, didn't they? So it's lost forever. Some of the early productions.
Yes. Yeah. So back in the day, videotape was very, very expensive, and the BBC would reuse it because they couldn't afford not to.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting projects I did before I left the BBC was we restored a very old episode of Doctor Who from the early 1980s. And what they'd done was they'd recorded the output of a studio monitor on a film camera. So we were able to take it was actually black and white films. We took a black and white film, and then from somewhere out in the public, they'd recorded that episode of Doctor Who on a VHS tape.
Yeah.
So we were able to pull the color information from the VHS tape, add it to the black and white information from the film, and recreate the episode.
Brilliant.
Yeah, one of the guys I used to work in radio with, he went down to London with a couple of our guys, and they met Kenny Everett in the BBC studios one time, and he was showing them how he used to do some of his editing work with razor blades and all sorts, and he was a whiz at it. He was really, really good, And he did some jingles for us, and they brought him back up, and they had a great couple of days with him. He was amazing, apparently. So, So.
I never got to meet him, unfortunately, but I would have loved to have met him.
You didn't meet Jimmy Savile, did you, when you were there, Mark?
No, fortunately, never did.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Yes, we have stories about that. But that's for off air.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear that. Yeah, I'm always seeing your face with. We mentioned John Henry again, holding an award for another film festival. And you must have Have you got a cupboard full?
Yes, I do actually have a cupboard full.
Excellent.
We have a wonderful cupboard dedicated to. I've got one shelf of awards, and then my son and daughter have another shelf of awards. From my daughter was always entering like science fairs and things, and my son would enter other things. So actually, my son entered a lot of soccer competitions.
Yeah.
So
not football. What advice would you offer to someone with ambitions of a career in the film industry? Similar to yourself and John and.
This is one thing I would teach and John Henry would teach all our film students is no matter what, go out and make films. Pick up a camera, go out and film something. And every time you film something, you learn something from it. But there's no substitute for just the sheer hard work of making films, and make as many as you can, as often as you can. The first ones you make will be absolutely terrible. I remember the first film I made was fairly terrible. But you get better, you learn from it. The very first film I ever made, I was looking at it and I realized I'd set the tripod up on the side of a hill, but hadn't leveled the tripod. So it looked like the person who was walking up the hill was like bending really, really forward, and the ground looked flat. So after that, it's like, okay, so I immediately went home and found one of my dad's spirit levels and stuck that in the tripod kit. So forever after that, I make sure the tripod's leveled. But yeah, I mean, the film industry is great. I love it if you're that creative type. But the secret is just to make films. Make films, enter film festivals, talk to other people who make films, find a group of people to make films with, go to film school. I'm still in touch with the people I was at film school with. We still work on projects together, even years later. And then from when I was a teacher, I still get former students contact me. One contacted me the other day out of the blue asking for my help because they remembered something I taught them in class. So make films, build your network, and keep at it. That's the best advice I can give you.
Okay, that's good. You've just reminded me, actually, talking about filming things. Somebody was talking yesterday about Crossroads. Do you remember Crossroads? Terry will. I'm not sure if you do, Mark.
Benny.
How badly filmed that was, the wrong angles and all the...
wobbly cardboard sets.
The one thing I remember about Crossroads
was about it yesterday and how bad it was.
Yeah, the one thing I remember about Crossroads from when I was a kid was I was always mesmerized by the titles, because one title would go up and one title would come across.
It was like that. That's right.
I was absolutely mesmerized by that as a little kid. I don't remember anything else about the show, but the titles stick in my mind.
Yeah.
I remember Benny went out to collect a new spanner, didn't he? I think it was the last we saw of him. It was Benny.
Something like that. Yeah, it was something else, though, wasn't it? But didn't there was a character, a celebrity? Was it Victoria Wood who ended up making it famous, really, by doing spin-offs on it or something like that? As Mrs. I can't remember now. Mrs.
Well, the antique shop thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Might well be, yeah.
I
don't remember.
I can't remember exactly, but anyway, it was a celebrity who used crosswords as a spoof thing and made it funny into what she did or whatever. But yeah, so it did have a good purpose in the end, even though, I mean, people used to love Crossroads, but all the people in it, because it was based in Birmingham, all the people in it didn't have Birmingham accents.
That's true, yeah.
It was awful. So they got somebody in it in the end,
There was
the door handles was falling off on the opening doors and all sorts of cardboard set up. Anyway,
there was a Brummie character. I've just remembered Jim Baines. He was a Brummie character. He won the pools. I won the pools. But anyway, on that note, I think time's caught up with us. I think for the ending, I'll put like a credits coming across and up and down, I think.
Yeah, do that, definitely.
But Mark, listen, it's been an absolute delight chatting with you again, and I really appreciate your time, and let's keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you. I've enjoyed talking to you guys. It's always great to talk to people about projects we work on, and I love talking to you too.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It's been a pleasure, as always. It's been fun. Yeah.
Best wishes with the launch, though, Mark. Unique perspectives.
Thank you. Yeah,
yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated how we get on.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah,
but for now,
son and daughter actually keep going from strength to strength with what they're doing. Sounds like going in the right direction. So brilliant. Yeah, nice one.
Good. Right. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. But for now, Mark, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.